tonight, I want everybody to sit back, get your notepads out, and we're going to ask a question. You know, the song that I played was by Michael Jackson was, "What have you done to make a difference?" Write that down. Everybody write that down. Now, here's something I want you guys to really understand. That's just not just a song. If you notice the caption of the night, it said, "Who is a leader?" And the reason why I don't really push my leadership calls, because everybody's not a leader. Everybody won't be a leader. Some people start as a leader, they become a leader, and then they backslide into mediocrity and whatever, and they don't consistent. Look, I could show you. Let's see, awards. There's 26 of them. I counted them earlier. 26 awards in my office. There's a bunch there. There's a bunch more there. I can't talk about that. But I'm showing you things because leaders have recognition. Leaders know, and leaders are willing, write this down. Leaders are willing to pay the price. Write that down. Write that down. Leaders are willing to pay the price. Most people are not willing to pay the price. They'll pay it as long as, watch this, write that down. Mr. Jetta, that's right. They'll pay as long as there's no hard sacrifice. You know, they want to be recognized as a leader, but they don't do the time work. You know, somebody asked me, how do you stay 28 years in the game? This is my 29th year. Well, because I pace myself, and a leader, it's like once they get going, it's easy to maintain it if you get it going. It's like a plane. A plane is not meant to run around the ground. It's not. It's meant to take off. And the hardest part for that plane is the first 3 or 4 minutes taking off the ground. It's like your business. But once you get off the ground, Ms. Melinda Batiste, it's easy to handle, because then the pilot pulls back on the throttle, and also the plane, all you gotta do is keep it on track. But the hardest part is some people have been at this business and they take off and then they slow it down. They take off, they slow it down. But tonight, I want to have a heart-to-heart with you before we have a little bit of fun. I want to give you guys, this is going to be probably a 2 or 3 part series right now, because I'm just so overwhelmed with this. Write this down. Leadership, tonight is leadership participation. So what do I mean by that? You all must participate tonight. Okay, every one of you, all of you, please. I want you to share in this. Now, what do you mean? I want you to drill down, listen to my spirit, listen to my words, drill down into you. I don't want no artificial response, please. This is leadership, it ain't for everybody. I want you to take a minute. Every one of you take just 1 minute and give me an answer to this. Just everybody, unmute your phone a minute, Mr. Bree Clemens. 1 minute. Here's the question. You can write the question down and just give me a 1 minute answer. What decision have you made this year? Write that down. That's right. Marie's over there writing it. What decision have you made this year? Part 2 of the question is to make it your best year ever. What decision have you made this year to make it your best year ever? Just like I'm talking to you personally. Just like I'm talking to you personally. I should have you guys respond, but I'm not here to put anybody on the spot. But this is leadership. If you want to respond, you can respond in the chat, or you can take your phone off and tell us what decisions. This is a very important question. It's a decision. You got to make a decision. All week long, the speaker's talking about making a decision. Yes, sir.
I've decided to personally impact 100 families this year. 100 families.
All right, impact them. How you going to impact them, sir?
First of all, getting them into my organization. 100
there
families.
You go.
100.
Good goal. Good goal. Now remember, everybody, if this ain't your goal, it's Mr. Sam Paul's goal. You all got different goals. What decision have you made this year? Every one of you. Because look, we're in the second week of a brand new year. If you haven't made a decision yet to do something different, then you're never going to do it. And to make it your best. I didn't say I said your best. Your best. Forget your best year. Remember the scene on what was that? The kid was carrying the kid on his back. He said, Brad, give me your best. Give me your best. Give me your best. No, you can do better than that. Give me your best. Give me your very best. And then he said, give me your very best, Miss Belinda Batiste. His very best. See, you guys probably did okay, but you didn't give it your very best in the past. And I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying if you were, you'd be a little bit further than you are today. Can we be nice about it? I'm not here to make anybody feel bad. This is leadership. The only way we get anywhere in life, like he said in Michael Jackson, is the person in the mirror. Is the only person stopping you. It's not me. It's not your blind. It's not your side. It's not your husband. No. It's that person in the mirror. Who else want to comment?
Mr.
What
Thomas,
decisions have you made this year? Yes.
Mr. Thomas, my goal is not to procrastinate and to be promoted to regional director.
Thank you, dear. Matter of fact, I love how you did what you did. She sent me something that she started outside the box and put together, and she sent it to me. I said, go for it, young lady, because see, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I shared that with you. There you go. I love it. Thank you, Ms. Sherry. I appreciate it. Who else want to comment? What decision? And don't give me no false, some feel good thing that you're just saying to be saying. I wanted to be real. What decision have you made this year to make it your best year yet?
Mr. Thomas, this is Joe Marshall. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Very much so.
So 2 things that I'm doing this year, 2 major things. 1, regional director by Cinco de Mayo, which is May 5th.
Yes, sir.
You can write that date down, May 5th. And the second thing is to focus 80 to 90% of my energy on people in the real estate industry.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something this young man did. He decided when I'm coming to Dallas, he made a decision as a leader. I'm going to put together a meeting. Mr. Thomas, can you do the meeting for me? And I'm having a disclosed location. I'll have 15 to 20 people there. I said, absolutely. They'll mostly be real estate. I said, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. See, what you got to make a decision. I'm not your boss. You're your boss. You don't have, people, I talk to my sister and it irks me every time I talk to my boss, like, oh my God, I just want to vomit. No, you are your boss, sister, not some person. So you have to make that decision. The second question, who else want to comment on that? What decision have you made this year? And what are you going to do to make it your best year ever? What are you doing? Anybody else want to comment? Interactive call. It's leadership. It ain't for everybody.
Mr. Thomas,
Go ahead.
oh, can I say? Oh, I'm Akiko from Japan.
Yes, Akiko.
I made my mind quit being a good person and being like that person who can say the right things to anybody.
I love it. Stepping up to the plate. I love it. Thank you, Miss Akinko. And you shall, dear, because you came a long way. I see a lot of growth in you, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
You're very welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Thomas, I did want to say one other thing. I had a very strong desire to attend the event in Dallas.
One more time.
Yeah, it's so good that they brought it online, and I'm so happy about it.
Are you gonna be in Dallas with us?
I'm gonna be streaming from there.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. God bless you. Yeah, I'll be there. Who else want to comment? Thank you, dear. Thank you. I love something that Miss Marie B said a couple of weeks ago. I decided to listen to Mr. Julian Lewis and decided to trust what he had to say. And I trust that. See, to me, that's surrendering to being submissive enough to learn what you need to know to take you to the next level. And the reason why I said, I'm going to show you something later why I say that's so important. You're going to hear this in a few minutes. Who else want to share what decision have you made this year to make it your best year ever? Who else want to comment?
Mr. Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Tim Kennard here in Minnesota. I made the decision to stay consistent no matter what. I realized that I have allowed myself to be distracted by things that I thought were important that long-term had no value.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Let me help you with that, sir. Let me tell you, I say no about 90 to 85% of the time when people come with projects or this or that. And the reason why, I learned this from Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson. And because, my friend Jordan Allen is a good friend of Richard Branson. He's over at Nectar Island. And I told him I'm going to go in his bag next time. But the whole idea, Richard Branson sets himself up. If it's not inconsistent, listen to this. If it's not going consistent where he's going, he doesn't say yes to it. Because like you said, it takes you off your goal. And I used to have a thing on my desk, Mr. Tim, that said obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off of God. I used to have that on my desk for many years. Obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off of God, because it's easy for the devil. Anybody, hey, look here, look over there, look at this. Hey, I got this. Hey, look here, I got this on Facebook. Hey, I got this on TikTok. Hey, we're so distracted with everything. So I always say to myself, I only do things that are consistent with my goals. If it's anything off my goals, I say no. And I say no 85 to 90% of the time. I really do. I find myself saying no. And if you look at mostly, they say no to a lot of things before they say yes. The average person say yes, 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 yes. They can't seem to say the word no. You have to. You have to. Thank you, Ms. Kathleen Williams, regional director. Got a date from her. You have to say no. I say no. If it's not going where I want to go, I say no. Thank you, sir. Who else want to share?
Hello, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, Miss Wayne.
Yeah, this is Natasha Wong from Canada. I made
Yes,
a
dear.
decision to go RVP by December 31st, 2022. Wrap up by
Okay.
the end of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my. I know the universe is gonna conspire to help me achieve this goal, even though I'm far from it. But it's possible. I believe it's possible.
With that much time, there, it's very possible. And I appreciate that. And I also know that you took on accountability part. See, there are a lot of things you guys do have done, you don't know that I even know about. See, I am so proud of you guys because you took it upon yourself to be on here on Saturday nights. And like I said, I don't pump this call up because it's not for everybody. The second thing I want to ask you guys, you could comment on this, is what have I done since January the 1st to today, which is only 15 days in a new year with a new month? What have I done since January 1st? What are, and put your name in there, going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to set a date and not go to work to make it real? Or what are you going to do about it?
Mr. Thomas,
Yes, sir.
what have I done since January the 1st? I've doubled up my efforts, sleeping less and going harder in my business more.
Man, I love that. Let me tell you something. You can sleep when you die, when you're dead. You know, people put so much, let me tell you something. Sleep is overrated. Overrated. More people sleep, no, they get depressed. And they get depressed because they're accomplished. Now, guess what? They start sleeping more. And then they start making more excuses. Sleep is overrated. I get up this morning. I was up at 3:30 this morning. I'm usually at 4 o'clock, 4:30, but sometimes I can't sleep. I'm up, got my headphones on in there speaking Spanish. Why? Because look, I'm not in competition with nobody on here. Mr. Diggory's on there, Jason Diggory, just made regional director. I'm not in competition with, man, he's not competition. He's in competition with himself. I push myself. I'm competitive. I told you before. I don't compare myself to no other senior vice president circles. No, I compete with me. My billionaire mentor, and I said this before, my billionaire mentor, Kenny Trout, he said this. He said, his mom, Nadine, before she passed away, when she was in a home, she said this to Kenny Trout. And Kenny always drove this in my head over and over. She said this, Kenny, you don't have to be the best. You must do your very best. Notice the word, very best. Not best, but very best. What was that movie, Giants? What was the name of the movie with the guy had the kid on the back and he was going, he says, Brock, give me your best. Brock, Brock, give me your very best. Not just your best, your very best. Now, if you could give that job your very best, get up in the morning, get out of a box. I mean, this bed shaped like a box, go down to the table shaped like a box, eat cereal out of a box, jump in a car shaped like a box, go down to your job and table shaped like a box, go to lunch and eat out of a lunch box, then go back home, sit on the couch shaped like a box, watch a TV set like a box, and then daddy put you in a pine box. Now, if you can do all that for them, why can't you do something for you and your family? Who said it was going to be easy? Everybody I know that's successful had a challenge. This is nothing new. Today, I got up and I drove out to the winery. I said, I'm going to do something different. Saturday, I got a little time off. I'm feeling better. I'm not going to go down to the church and give out in the cold weather and pan out food today. I'm going to take a day to pat Al Thomas on the back. I drove out to Pahrump. Hey, Mr. O'Neill, I went out to Pahrump to the winery. And I went out there, took myself to lunch. And I mean, that's like, I sat there and I had a great time by you know what I mean? Because you have to reward yourself. So many people work worked a job 5 years, never took a day, what I call a because day. What's a because day, Mr. Thomas? I'm not going to work just because I don't feel like it. It's my day to pay myself. You pay the rent, you pay the car note, you pay for the kids' education, when's the last time you took something for yourself? So You got to understand, what are you doing this year that you're going to do differently, and stick with it. Don't just say it today to feel good or impress people on the call, because I really don't need to be impressed. Nobody on the call do. I want you all to be and experiencing the lifestyle that I have. And I mean, you can have it. There's nothing stopping you but that man, like Michael Jackson said, that man or woman in the mirror. Anybody else want to comment before we move on?
Yes, sir. Mr. Thomas, Luis and
Yes,
Pam.
Mr. Payon.
I decided to BRD by April 18th of this year and just do everything I can every day to expose people, show 1-minute videos when I'm on the train, walking my dog, doing groceries, bring people to my wife, people that I cannot communicate well with, bring them to my wife so she can show the business and help as many people as I can. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. You know, is Miss Pinedo still on the call? Is she on the call, anybody? Miss Pinedo was one of the ladies who would get a name and number and do it herself, and do it herself, and do it herself. And then she found out if she passed it over to her daughter or son-in-law, she had much more success. And now her numbers are going, I mean, she's doing a great job with it. As you saw last week, we had on the call, she told me, yeah, I got 278 points myself. My husband has 69, I forgot what it was. But because she learned how to pass it. We have been taught in a job, you got to do it all. This is not a job. This is a partnership with people that have a sync interest and invested interest in your success. It's a whole different philosophy we've been taught. Now, anybody else want to comment? Thank you, Mr. Parent. Anybody else want to comment before we move on?
I will, Mr. Thomas. It's Diane from
Yes, Miss
Australia.
Diane Collins over in Australia, Mike.
Hello. We were supposed to be on a conference today, but it got cancelled. So for the Australian, I think like a merge, but anyway, doesn't matter. I prefer to be with you guys. So I've decided to make this year RD by Easter this year, and I've to contact as many customers on my list to rekindle the friendships and to ask them to relook at bills and to show them the business, and I have continued to ask them if there's anybody else I can help, which that has come to fruition for the last 2 weeks. I've also decided to read a book a month. I don't know about I can read a book a week like Mr. Jordan, but I've started with Speech Money again.
Okay,
and I
good.
go through and I highlight them up to your chapter, highlight the stuff that I want to. And I've also made, fantastic. I've also made I wrote down a thingo today, yesterday actually on the call while I was listening to you. I've written down, legacy is not leaving something for people, it's leaving something in people to continue your vision.
Wow.
That's what I'm aiming for this year.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys a deep, deep, deep one. Okay, you ready for this? This is leadership. I don't talk about this on regular stuff. You might want to write this one down. In life, I know Miss Collins ready to go. Life only gives you one lap around the track of life. Life only gives you one lap around the track of life. If we were to look at your score, what would it be as far as people you've helped? I showed you all these 26 awards in here, 26 of them. I counted before I got on the call. Let's get you some of these. Now, does anybody, thank you, Ms. Collins, that was beautiful. Does anybody else, go ahead, Ms. Collins.
So I meant to tell you also, last year, you said that we had to make a run for it towards the end of the year. I did put my stats, I forgot because I had to help out a friend at the last call in December so I couldn't get on. And I just want to let you know that for the team, this is for Australia, for my group, team customer points producers, I was 5th in October. What you said, I ran to number 1st. I was ranked 1st in November and I'm back 4th in December, and top personal customer points all overall for the whole of Australia, as I'm still rated 3rd, but I won 1st.
Wow, congratulations. Everybody, let's give her a hand. Whoa, whoa.
Oh,
I do what you tell me to do.
She's famous.
Now, what did you say, Miss Collins, was that last part?
I do what you tell me to do. What Mr. Adler, Mr. Clemens, Mr. Sam Foster, Julian Lewis, Natasha,
Wow.
whatever you say,
guys-
I do. I'm not frightened to try anything.
You know what? I appreciate that so much, because what she just said, let me say that, let me interpretate the Australian language into English. She did everything the leaders told her to do on these calls. Wow. Yes, Miss Marie.
I would just like to thank Ms. Diane Collins. My team in Australia is growing, and she's helping me with my team there, because I really don't know how to do the energy and the gas. So she actually helped me investigate something, and I really, really thank you. And Mr. Julian Lewis is the one that connected me, said Ingrid and Ms. Diane will help me with any questions I have for Australian market.
Wow. Come on, everybody. That's what this is about. Teamwork makes the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. See, that's why I love the Saturday calls, because we can talk about how we've helped each other. We could talk about, hey, what we all need to work on. We could talk about these things. And that's what I love about Saturday calls, because it's just us, the leaders, not the invitation, not the ones who, it's just us who are actually got our sleeves up in the trenches going, as Sam Foster would say, we're injecting it in us, So thank you. Thank you, Marie, for sharing that. Thank you, Ms. Diane Collins, because you're amazing. Man, I love that. Number 1, number 2, number 4. I love it. Anybody else have anything they want to share on what we talked about so far? All right. Now, with leadership participation.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, TJ.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that to answer both your questions, the first thing that I'm doing in 2022 and working on it daily is being more consistent intentionally. That's, the day can get away from me, et cetera. And I've been putting some things in place to be more attentive to being consistent and meeting my goals. I am rewarding myself. One of my favorite types of money that you talk about is the FU money, sir. And so I really miss, yes, yeah, the fourth one, because, just not doing the live internationals, even though we're going to do one now, the dolphin side of me I miss the fun. And so my plan is to reward myself more often for the achievements, though, not just willy-nilly, but, one of my goals is hitting the new position RC by February 1st. So that I'll reward myself as it relates to that with my earned FU money. And the last thing is working on connecting more with other people. So I've joined 2 groups to build better relationships.
Good,
and
very good.
Those are the things that I'm doing. And Miss Collins, I love your legacies, leaving something in people. That is so remarkable. So thanks for sharing that thought.
You know what? If I can give you guys, thank you so much. Let's give TJ a hand. That was good.
Oh, you're welcome,
excellent.
sir. No worries.
If we could, let me give you guys something to shoot for. This really is not that difficult. 3 leads a day. 3 leads a day. That's not difficult. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. I have a saying, 3 leads a day will keep a job away. 3 leads a day will keep a job away. Now, anybody else want to share real quick before we move on to the next? Anybody else? Remember, drill down deep. Tonight's leadership is about participation. What decision have you made? Some of you still haven't made a decision. You're still coasting through 2021, hoping to coast through 2022. Before you look up, you'll be in 2024, and you'll still be in the same position. And this call is really not for that. This call is for those who are inspired to go forward and to stretch yourself like you never stretched yourself before. Because this is a very important year, a very important year. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to sit here and talk about, I was out the other day. This is leadership, because I don't talk about this on calls. You notice I don't do regular calls anymore. I just stick to leadership because I just want to talk to leaders. And I love, we have some great speakers, Mr. Sam Foster, Mr. Julian Lewis. We've had, this particular month, all the great speakers have said something that was so profound that was just mind-boggling. Miss Cordellano's coming back. I just love her energy. So I'm putting you in front of the best of the best. And these are leaders who are up and coming. And eventually you'll be there too. but I want to give you a view from the top. The next part of this, I'm going to give you a view from the top. What I mean by a view from the top, there's Mr. Bree Clemens, can you show the picture first? I want to show you this picture first. Now, this was a couple days ago. Now, you guys don't know it, but I probably do know it, but I enjoy a good, I'm a Cuban cigar kind of guy. Probably one of my only bite. Well, anyway, and I was running some errands the other day. Actually, what day was it? Thursday. I was running some errands Thursday. I get a call from Jordan. He says, hey, I'm just back in town. I flew back in. I'm getting to jump on the helicopter and take a couple of guys over to the winery and across the mountains into Prump. And you got time for a cigar? So they went to go get the helicopter. And anyway, it had a few complications. Said, let's go have a cigar. So we met up at the cigar place here in Summerlin. Now, the gentleman on the left, is actually a #1 distributor in another MLM company that does solar. He's the one I showed you a couple of weeks ago that bought himself a Rolls Royce drop top. Mr. Bree Clemens, do we have to sell those pictures? I don't know if we got them ready to go, but he has a Rolls Royce drop top. He bought the owner of the company, Dan, he bought him a Ferrari. Now watch, I'm gonna say that again. I don't know if y'all caught that. He bought himself a Rolls Royce drop top. He bought the owner of the company to say thank you, a Ferrari. Now, there's a network marketer, solar. There's Jordan Adler and his network marketing company, and there's me. I want you guys to really catch this. This is leadership. 3 different moguls from 3 different companies sitting down, breaking bread together, not recruiting each other, just friendships, talking about things that changed our lives. Now, they tried to bring me in the conversation. I said, no. I'm going to sit here. And the gentleman to the left had his cameraman come over there to take some more footage of him and his lifestyle. I decided to bring up my camera. And I'm going to give you about 11 to 12 minutes of something that's going to rock your world. Mr. Bree Clemens, whenever you're ready, sir. And I want you guys to pay close attention and listen from the eagles at the top of the mountains of what their conversation is like. Go ahead, sir.
It's not easy to do. Most people throw in the towel. Most people can't handle that heat. And it requires you to regroup in a way that's going to bring you to new levels. But the only way that happens is if you make a decision in advance that no matter how tough it gets, you're not going to quit.
How long did it take you to hit that $1 million a year in your second venture?
Here? Second venture?
Yeah.
Third year.
Third year
is when I made $1 million in a year.
And was it just a gradual climb to the?
No, well, the first 5 months I was just working hard, and you also, everybody questions. You don't know for sure. You can have a really good idea that things are going to go great. You can like, this is a great idea. I think this is going to catch on. So you go to work, and maybe you attract some people, and you begin putting together a team, and you're getting customers and growing. But to reach the next level, you don't really know for sure if it's going to happen. So you have to step out. You got to work hard in faith that it is. You have to act as if it's going to be big, right? And for me and our company, and it wasn't just me. It was just like attracting the right people at the right time, people that wanted to really make a big change in their life and are willing to work hard, and that they have the resources to do it, or they're willing to find the resources to do it, like the people resources. It's all about relationships. It's all about connecting with the right people. It's all about networking. So, to answer your question, I started by my 5th month. I was making about 10 grand a month, which wasn't what I was accustomed to.
No.
That was good money for a lot of people, but that wasn't what I was accustomed to. But we were moving in the right direction, so I just kept pouring gasoline on the fire. And then the second year I did extremely well, and then the third year finished really well.
Have you ever been offered a better situation somewhere else?
You're amazing. Yes, in fact, the more successful you become, the more people want you. And they really don't want you as much as they want your network. They want the relationships that you've built. And so the bigger you get, and the more high profile you get, and the more you put yourself out there, the more people come after you. And they're willing to pay you to move. The problem is the people that get paid to move over the long haul, they typically never do that good. Typically. The ones that are willing to take the next check to bring their team, because it destroys many relationships in the process.
I fell into that trap over and over and over again in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only reason, or the biggest reason I was able to actually make it in solar was because no matter what was thrown at me or what was offered, and especially when I was going into, when I was in the Valley, it seems obvious that you would take it, but I just didn't want to repeat the same cycle.
Yeah, you have to make some decisions. The other thing is this guy right here, Al Thomas, he's recording me. How you doing, Al?
Hey, buddy.
Al was one of my early mentors before I ever made a penny in business. And I had struggled for 10 years. I'd never made a penny in business. I was involved in different companies and tried, and trying doesn't work too well. And I was invited to go to an event, a training event in San Francisco. Didn't have the money to go.
How old were you?
34 years old. 33, 34 years old. Never made more than $28,000 in a year in my life at the age of 34. In fact, my rent was $200 a month. I was living in an enclosed garage in Tempe, Arizona. I had a broken down Jeep that was sitting in the street, and I couldn't afford to fix it. So for 2 years it sat in the street. And I was invited to this event, and some of my mentors believed in me, Jay and Meg Smith, and they said they'd pay for my airline ticket and my hotel room. And I went to this event, and that's where I met this guy, Al Thomas. And Al was one of the top guys in this company, and it was a newer company. I mean, it'd been around a few years, but he was there, and I got invited to a dinner, and there were, 10 people around the table, and these are all people that were making big money, and they were leaders in this company, and I had never made a penny. And I just listened, and that was when I got to know Al. A couple of months later, I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I heard Al was coming to town at the Safari Resort on Scottsdale Road in Camelback, and that resort's not there anymore, but Al was one of the speakers. I think he was the main speaker at that event. And I invited a couple people to it. We sat in the front row. And I actually had invited 5 people, and if I recall, I think I had 2 people with me, maybe 1, I can't really remember. But Al was on stage, he was funny, he was fun, and I was feeling down, I was feeling like, how did Al get 200 people here and I can't even get 5, I was just feeling really kind of bummed out about it. And then I realized Al, from the front of the room, said, if you're here with me, stand up. And 3 people stood up that were with Al. And I realized Al didn't get all those people there. Al got 3 people there. I got 2 people there, one or 2. And I saw, Al remembered me from that dinner in San Francisco. We became friends. And then I went on. Once I realized that the reason Al was making money is because there were hundreds of meetings going on across the country, and Al had 2 or 3 people at every one of them. And so his team had people at those other events. And so I realized that the magic of creating momentum in a network marketing business, or a business where you're dealing with teams of people, the key is you don't need to get everybody. You just need to find a few, your core group of leaders. And sometimes you have to bring on 20 or 30 people to find one. You bring on 20 or 30. In fact, I'm sure, Edmund, in your career, you found that you've got to recruit more than 2 people to find 2 leaders. You're going to have to recruit 20 people or 30 people to find 1 or 2 leaders. And so when somebody comes to me and they say, Jordan, I've brought in 10 people and I'm not making any money, or I've got 5 customers and I've got 1 distributor and I'm not making any money, it's like, well, you're just getting started. you know? Yeah. So Al taught me some lessons in the early days that I didn't, and by the way, there's in my book Beach Money, which has sold over 1 million copies, there's a whole chapter in my book about Al, and yeah, so he had a huge impact on my career and on my life in terms of the mentoring in the early days before I'd ever made a penny. Yeah.
Love that. January 5th, 2019. I'm walking on the beach with this man. We're staying in this beautiful beach house.
Just sold for $4 million.
That Jordan had, and I'd already read Jordan's book and listened to it on audio a couple hundred times. Been following Jordan for a decade, and Jordan's life's incredible. And he was sharing with me how I was 30 years old. He was sharing with me how at my age he didn't have anything, and I'm there on the beach with $300 to my name, and I'm thinking to myself, it's so hard to imagine that and picture that because of his life that he has today. And for me, that walk was like, it was a defining moment where I felt like I could do it too. So it was really cool. But I wanted to make it a point to stick with one thing and to actually like get over all the obstacles and barriers that I wasn't able to get over in my 20s in different ventures. And I think a lot of it comes down to your mental fortitude and your strength to be able to like stick to your vision and stay excited and keep a high level of belief in what you're doing and what you want to do, and understanding that it's not going to happen overnight. So just like Al Thomas helped you, you've helped me a lot.
Now we're flying around in private jets.
Yeah, now things look a little bit different, but it takes a little bit of time. And one thing about time is it flies by regardless. Like the next 5-10 years of your life are gonna fly by. You gotta ask yourself, do you want to go from company to company, chasing the best deal, the best situation, where you just start fresh and start new and you don't have to deal with your current results? Or do you want to actually grow? And do you want to, build a business on a solid foundation and have true relationships that you value, and eventually, grow and build something special with people that you love and trust? That takes time, and it takes more than just looking at your current results, right? You have to actually want to contribute and add value to others and serve something bigger than just yourself. I think for me, I've been very mission driven on creating something, and it hasn't just all been about my immediate income, and once you focus on embracing the journey and going through the process, I like to say marry the process, divorce the outcome. If you're truly focused on adding value and contributing, you are going to progress every single year. That's the only thing that really matters. Nobody becomes a millionaire overnight. I'll tell you that right now.
Unless you bought 20 Bitcoin when it was $1.
In that case, you're a millionaire. But that takes time too, Jordan. Yeah. You go back, in time when Bitcoin was $1, that was probably 10 years ago.
All right, everybody. There you have it. Next week, I'm going to play another segment of that. I'm going to highlight, and then we can open the phone lines up and comment, and we'll be done tonight on leadership. This is not for everybody to see. Everybody can't, when you go to a bar, where's the most expensive liquor? Top shelf. That's right, Miss Belinda Batiste. I know you like good stuff. There you go. It's on the top shelf. The cheap stuff is right here. And the everyday people stuff is on the bar. They bring it out a little, You know, you want wine, they get the box wine or they get the wine, they push out of the that. You don't want that. You don't want the stuff behind you. You want the, there you go. So what am I saying? This is high level stuff because not everybody need to hear this. Here, these eagles are perched up on a perch on a high mountain, and you guys got to listen in. What did Edmund say? He said, stay focused no matter what. I'm gonna highlight a few things. And then you guys tell me what you got out of it you can do from here out to change your business. He said, stay focused no matter what. He says, you don't want to go in the valley. When you do, that's when you have to stay even more focused. Some of y'all need to write that one down. Once you go into a valley or a slump, you need to stay more focused. Jordan said, Al Thomas was one of my first mentors. I was 34. He said, Jordan said his mentors believed in him before he believed in himself. Do you realize I believe in each and every one of you? And one day you will be believing in other people who don't have the belief in themselves. He went to the meeting in Scotts, Arizona. He thought I had 200 people there. He realized I only had 3 people at that meeting. I had him stand up. Then he realized that I had 3 people at hundreds of meetings across the United States and Canada that same night. Y'all catching that? We can do it faster through PBRs, folks, on a Zoom call. Are you guys catching that? The other day, Mr. Bree Clemens had me on 2 yesterday. The couple, he just signed up, they're on honeymoon, and they did 1 app yesterday, and we did 4 more Zoom calls. No excuses. He said, Al had a big impact on my life. And this is what Edmund say, just like Jordan, you do the big impact on my life. Do you see what happened? It's like the book of Deuteronomy. They begot, he begot. Al Thomas helped me, and I turn around and help you, Edmund. Are you guys catching this? He said he walked on the beach and you saw him start crying. And he said, you gotta stick with one company. He also said it's not gonna happen overnight. He said he wanted to build something with people that he loved and trust, and he wanted to add value to people's lives. Folks, that's exactly what we do 7 days a week here. Jomar Sharp's up the back tomorrow night. We do it 7 days a week here to add value to your life. Now, the goal this week is to get at least 3 names and numbers and get at least 1 or 2 persons on these calls. They don't have to be an ACN. They will get an ACN if they get on these calls, because now they say, where's this coming from? I want to know more about this. What are y'all doing? You see, as great as these calls are, ask yourself, have you ever got anybody on here? You don't have to be an IBO. They can be a guest. I've had guests on here. Phone lines are open. What'd you guys get out of that 16 minutes conversation? I'm going to play part 2 next week. It's not for everybody. I'm not going to play this for everybody to see, but only you leaders. Yes, sir.
Sam Foster here, ladies and gentlemen. I got out of the call tonight through the conversations of everybody at that table is that everybody stayed consistent. Everybody weathered the storm. Everybody stayed consistent. You know, whether it was the guy doing the solar, whether it was Jordan, even whether it was you, everybody stayed consistent. They humbled themselves. The guy that was doing solar, he talked about how he had the peaks and valleys and he had to pretty much stay consistent, quit hopping all across the place and stay consistent. And it paid off for him. It didn't happen overnight, but it paid off for him because he was consistent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that. That's right. Exactly what he said. And as we said, as we start climbing the ladder, everybody in the other MLMs come at us with money. Hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars, a sign-in bonus. But you know what? Can't go. Can't do it. Look, I've got too many, just like you guys, I got too many people relying upon me. I have too many of you respecting me and relying upon me for me to let you down. There is a level of trust, a level of commitment that I cannot let you down. If I see people coming ACN, they'll go to certain levels and they let themselves down and Then they'll start doing this, that, and the others. I just shake my head like, Lord, I thought they were stronger than that. I can't afford to let you down. I think more of myself and I'll think more of you. That's why this is leadership call. I don't push it because stuff I talk about on here, it's raw. A lot of people can't handle it. They're too wimpy these days. They have to go to a soft spot. Who else want to share? Thank you so much, Mr. Sam Foster.
Mr. Thomas, this is Dave Culver.
Yes, sir. Yes, Professor.
What I learned from you and all the leaders, especially, there's always a blessing in the valley. Are you willing to go through the process to get it, to go on the other side? And you've done it twice, so it's the burden proof. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You know, and and why you said that, I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, take this to heart. You don't need more than 3 mentors. Let me tell you what happened. When you start diluting yourself with 5 and 6, you ain't doing jack. You're going to meeting to meeting, you're a meeting person. You can't do it. You're just diluting yourself. God gave me 3, how many billionaires? 3. That was my clue right there. In other words, Al Thomas, you only need these 3 guys, nobody else. Nobody else. My whole life, I only had 3. I'll listen to the other guys, but I only got 3. Some of you guys, I swear, stopped it. And then all of a sudden your income go down, your team falls apart. You listen to too many people, going left, going right, I got to go TikTok. Oh, I got to do Appa. Oh, I got to go over here on Skype. I got to do. You only need 3. I dug in many, many decades ago, 30 some years ago, with the 3 that gave me wherever I'm at today. And I'm fortunate every day, and I get up every morning with attitude of gratitude. My biggest prayer every morning is, God, who do I need to know? And who need to know me? What does that mean? God, who do I need to know that's going to bless me? And who can I give that blessing back to? Who do I need to know that can help me change? And who can I change? Whose life can I change? Be a conduit. And the moment you take your eyes off of you, you'll be a blessing to more people. See, I don't worry about money. Let me tell you something. I worry about helping more people. The money just comes. That's a real big one right there. Some people get people down, oh, boy, I'm gonna make so. No, I don't worry about that. All I care about is getting them qualified and being a blessing to them. Because mine will come eventually. Jim Rohn said it, quit looking at it that way. And if you're not where you want to be, double up on your work ethic. Who else want to share what they got out of that? Thank you, Mr. Dave Culver. Thank you, Professor.
Mr. Thomas, it's Natasha Wang.
Yes, up in Canada. Yes, dear.
I have 2 takeaways because I also recently I started reading Think and Grow Rich and the story 3 Feet from Gold.
Oh, powerful.
Yes. And then exactly resonate with the message today. And he said when he was in the pit, he pushes through. He did not stop 3 feet from gold. So he keep consistently doing, even though that might in the dip. And then that's where the universe is testing us to, do we really want it, right? So actually right now, I'm also in a pit right now. And I know it's a sign for me by reading the books and associate with you, everyone here on the call. I need to push this through. I know the gracing will come. That's point number 1. Point number 2, and it just, the level of association is truly determine the quality of our life. Just by the conversation, you see, I realize I still need to constantly upgrading my network because my day-to-day conversation was not on that level. I want to be associated with eagles and fly as high as, as an eagle. So I just so impressed with that. Even a cigar and, a drink conversation could be like so elevate like this. And that's my 2 takeaway. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. And you are one of my favorite mentor. I only got 3, so you are one of them.
Good, thank you, dear. If you ever see eagles meet each other, where are they usually at?
Up by the sky, very tall.
Up high, there you go. Up high by the sky on the top of some mountaintop or some treetop, way high. Not a 30-foot tree, 100-foot tree. I mean, they're way high because they don't come low. And if you notice, we just sat there and just have 3 different powerful men from 3 different organizations having some fun. Eagles don't recruit, Eagles have fun. But I picked the tab up that day, by the way, it's funny. But the key of it is, I've seen people get in this business, hit certain levels, and go in a valley and can't come out the valley. They divert, doing other things. I've had SVPs, I'm not going to name your name. I've seen them, they've never been through a bad time. And as soon as things hit, they leave the company, go somewhere else, thinking it's going to be different. No, it's like Michael Jackson, it's the man/woman in the mirror, it's you. See, that's powerful. Thank you, Ms. Wang. Wow. Who else want to share?
Mr. Thomas, this is Sherry, and my takeaway is that Jordan Adler had his mentor there, and then the other gentleman had his mentor there, and you were the beginning of them all. So
thank you, Sherry. Yeah, it was a fluke meeting. This is the second time we met in the last, 3 or 4 weeks? It was a fluke because I was out running errands and I still had my South African shirt on, some sweatpants. I had sweatpants on. So crazy. Jordan called. I just flew right. I said, I'm 10 minutes away. I'm just running errands, middle of the day. Everybody else at work. And watch this. I'm running errands. He's ready to take the helicopter out. Can't go. So we met up a cigar. And they said, guess who's coming over? Edmund. And he's got a photographer coming over to take some more filming of him. So, and he had one of his, watch this. It's so funny you said that. The guy there, Edmund, had one of his understudies there. So here I am, there's Jordan Adler, his Edmund, and then his understudy, and the guy at the camera. You'll see it in the next film, next week or two, you'll see the rest of it. I broke it down in segments because I don't show this in a regular call because everybody ain't leaders. You guys are real leaders. Next question. Anybody else want to share what they got out of it?
Mr. Thomas?
Yes, sir.
What I really liked is that your leaders believe in you before you believe in yourself. So I want to thank you for believing in me and my wife. I know she believes in me and I know you believe in me. So I can get to the next level. Thank you, sir.
I'm so proud of you for being so timid to going out and getting 3 names and numbers a day every day, that I'm very proud of you. And everybody on this call could do the same thing if they choose to. And then you have to make a commitment no matter what. And not everybody's going to do that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Who else want to share?
Mr.
Hey,
Thomas,
Thomas.
Tim Kennard.
Yes, Tim. Ladies first.
Okay, it's just TJ, and I appreciate what Mr. Payan just said as well, but I appreciate it from a different end. He said his mentors believed in him and they invited him somewhere else. And a lot of times when you're not doing you're not getting the results that the team or the person wants, you don't get any attention until then. So that really touched my heart as it related to his mentors believing in him, despite he wasn't where he wanted to be, but they knew he could potentially get there at some point. And the other thing he strengthened me on was building solid foundation, solid relationships, loving your results, and of course, adding value to others. So those were my takeaways from his conversation. Great. And how I was blessed with your sharing. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, dear. Thank you. Thank you so much, TJ. Mr. Tim, Minnesota.
Yes, sir. The things I got tonight is, sorry, my voice is hoarse. Legacy is not leaving something to people, it's leaving something in people to carry on the vision. And then, wow. And then the other thing that that was really successful or was really powerful to me was the more successful you become, the more people want you, but not you, but your network. And Jordan Adler said that. He said it's a trap. They don't really want you. And then the other thing that Edmund said is marry the process, divorce the outcome. Mm-hmm. And the last thing that I noticed, which a few people noticed, and it was something you texted me at the beginning of the year. I don't remember exactly when, but you said you believed in me and you were counting on me and my family was counting on me. And that's what I needed to hear. And the question went through my mind is, if you're counting on me and my family's counting on me, who do I not even know yet that needs me to have success so that they can count on themselves?
Wow. Woo! That was a mouthful, right, Miss Belinda Batiste? That was a mouth. You know what? You guys all have it together. You just got to put the numbers in. And what I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, you just got to go out there and get 3 names and numbers a day. Look, there's no key. There's no secret. The secret is there's no secret. All we do is just do the numbers every day. Nothing sexy about it, nothing romantic about it. It's get names and numbers every single, and just go through the numbers. There's no shortcut, folks. Thank you, Mr. Tim. That was wow, that was amazing. Who else want to share? Thank you, sir. That was powerful.
I'll share, Mr. Thomas. That was powerful, Tim. Wow.
Yes, it was.
Just what Mr. Adler was saying, that you need to go to work, step out, work hard, and act as if you're going to be big. You need to be willing to find the resources if you don't have them. You need. It's all about relationships and connecting with the right people. You need to make a decision and always sit in the front row at conferences, which I have reread that. The key is to find a few events and to see, to get people there to see the business opportunity. And that other gentleman said, mental fortitude, stay excited, stick to your vision, understand will not happen overnight and it takes time. Build a solid foundation, like TJ said, and with relationships that grow and add trust and element and to serve others. Embrace your journey, add value, contribute, and you will progress every year. And you need to stay focused no matter what, is into the valley, like as you said. So, that was just powerful. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Ms. Collins.
And you're my number one mentor. The others are coming and going, but I just follow what you say. So
yeah, they're not consistent.
All the way from Australia.
After 29 years of consistency, I think I should know something, a little bit, right? I'm going to go back for a second. I'm going to talk about Jordan Allen. When I met Jordan was, like you said, he was working at the airlines, Mesa Air in Arizona. He was making, you hear what he said? He was making $28,000 a year was all he ever made a year. Y'all hear that? His rent was how much? Anybody remember? $200. That's right, $200. And he lived in a garage. He didn't talk about the waterbed, but anyway, and it had a pinhole in it. He kept thinking he was so funny. That was Jordan Allen. And if you had on the last conference I had last week, I had him on the daytime because I'm only going to do this in the evening. Mr. Bree Clemens and I were talking about just doing some evening stuff like this, just for leadership that the people don't get the chance to see because we don't want them to see. It's only for leaders. And on the day call, he talked about does anybody remember how many presentations he did a year and how many apps that he brings in a month? Does everybody remember?
500 presentations?
No, he did 500 presentations a year, and he normally sponsors 3 people a month. Now, that ain't a whole lot. What he looks at, which I'm going to tell you to look at, don't look at what your downline is doing, only count on what you can do. See, I look at it this way. Everything my downline do is a blessing or a plus. I can only count on who? Myself. Yeah. Some of you don't get mad because your downline doing nothing. What are you doing? So you got to lead by example there too. You got to lead by example as well. Today I was out at Prompt, lady out there. It's so funny. I was out in Prompt. I said, yeah, I just drove out to have lunch and blah, blah, blah. I said, my buddy flies over, the helicopter lands. And she said, name. I said, no, you know Jordan Allen? Oh, yeah, I know Jordan. He was here, blah, blah, blah. Matter of fact, he brought me a box of candy a couple of weeks ago. He flew out into the winery. Big old parking lot. You can land the helicopter right then, just walk over to the winery, have lunch, dinner, and then fly back. And it's amazing that people get in this business that expect it to come through osmosis. And they never had a hard time. The downline fell apart. They don't know how to get back off their rear end and go back at it again. Folks, when I got started in my first company, my group fell not once, not twice, 3 times my group, boof. One time they left to go with another group. My 4th time is when I made it to the top of that company. So I'm here to encourage you. So what? Get off your, I went out and build it again. The 4th time it worked. And then after many years doing very well there, you're in ACN. And guess what? If I did it once, I could do it what? Again. But very few people have excuses why they can't go out and do it again. I've had SVP stop. I've had people I know are SVP stop. Times got bad. They didn't know how to pull themselves up. I've seen RDs, I've seen TCs, I've seen RVP. I'm still here. And you know what? They all got a good reason, excuse me. In their mind, they got a good reason. But yet still, they have to start all over again at a new company or still get a job. But they're like, why do I pick myself up? Folks, you're in the best place at the best time. This company said, look, we're putting another position in there, right between there. Some of you are already qualified for it. So it's easier and faster to get to RD. There's no excuses. Now, I'm gonna end the call with this. It's just flat out time to go to work. That's all it is. Ain't time to point the fingers. Ain't time, wow, this, why don't you, why don't you just go to work? Sometimes people call me at this time, why don't they see this? I'm like, why don't you go to work? They got every, I don't do that. There's one guy, I'm not going to mention his name, to this day, has never done very much, and he's always complaining about one lousy customer. And sometimes it's the prayer of God that keeps me from saying, why don't you get off your backside and go get somebody else? That's his excuse why ACM won't work for him. He's studying, looking for an excuse. Folks, you guys are leaders. It's my time to get my massage right now. Look, that's my day to treat myself. I'll tell you. I paid, was that talking about James Brown? I paid the cost to be the boss? Yeah. When you put the time in, you pace yourself. How do I stay in hopping 28, 29 years? Because I pace myself. I work hard. And let me say this, the last thing I want to give you guys. And I want you to start living by this if you can. Don't eat until you deserve to eat. I don't do nothing until I deserve to eat. If I ain't made no money, ain't made no calls, I ain't got no customer, I got an IBO, if I made no call, I don't deserve to eat. Only eat when you deserve to eat. That's your weight loss program right there. Only eat when you deserve to eat. I only eat when I deserve to eat. When I had a good week and I paced myself, I deserve it. So I said, I'm going out. Yeah, I deserved it. Because why? I put it in this week. I laid it all out. Don't eat, just be eating. Only eat when you deserve to eat. And with that said, God bless you guys. I got some more. We're going to play another one. I think I got a couple more segments to show you. It's only for leadership. You guys are leaders. God bless and keep you. Do something to move your business forward.